You entrusted your loved one's care to a nursing home, expecting compassion and quality treatment. Instead, they suffered from neglect, abuse, bed sores, falls, or medication errors that could have been prevented. I'm Chris Brown from Geiger Legal Group. Our elderly deserve dignity and proper care, not negligence that causes pain and suffering. When nursing homes fail in their duty of care, we fight to hold them accountable. Your loved one's suffering matters. We'll stand up for those who can't stand up for themselves.
Call Geiger Legal Group at 833-HELP-GLG and let us tell your story today.
You snoozed twice this morning, spilled your coffee once, and you've already blamed last night's referee for your morning mood.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
It's time to embrace the chaos and step into the madness.
Bro, you about to see a side of me you didn't even know existed.
Featuring guests who are over-caffeinated and less reasonable than the average person.
Man, I think it's just ridiculous.
Come on, man. Are you serious? Ugh.
Fans, where else would you rather be than right here, right now? Welcome to the show.
So buckle up. It's time for hot takes and hot mics. This is the Morning Rant, where the only thing more unpredictable is Dave before his third cup of coffee.
I just felt like running.
On WPGY, the Sports Pig.
What's up, North Georgia? Dave Garner with you right here inside our Carriage Kia studios as we get set for Wingin It Wednesday. Presented by your friends at the Pub and L&J. $1 wings all day long at the Pub and L&J. If you're in or around North Georgia, swing by and check them out. Again, they're very good wings. I appreciate you guys being with us right here. Almost said Tailgate Thursday, and there's a reason for that, because usually on Tailgate Thursdays, I'm joined by the golden boy himself, Will Cooper, but we've moved him up here today. We moved things around with the July 4th weekend, and I got Coop with me here on a Wingin' It Wednesday, so that means today is Tomahawk Take. It's Braves Talk. It's Prep Rally as we dive into some high school news. It's the Cooper Predictor, and so much more. And joining us right here this morning, all the way from Texas, man, where things are a little bit bigger, man. Will Cooper, what's up, buddy?
Hey, not much. Sorry for the downgrade on a Wednesday. I'll try and keep up with your usual host.
Yeah, here we go. I feel you. Well, no, you appreciate you being with us. Hey, a lot of Braves talk. And, of course, the Braves getting off to another slow start in another series last night against the Cardinals, of course, at home. We're going to talk about that a little bit later in the program. Did you happen to catch World Cup last night? Did you see Mexico? Yeah. I mean, Mexico, the two goals they scored, especially after the second one. Now, it was a home match. I mean, let's be honest. It was a home game for Mexico. I'm not sure that even France, for that matter, would have gone down there last night and beaten Mexico with that crowd. I mean, it was just an electric atmosphere. I told myself last night, Coop, before I went, I was like, okay, I'm not staying up tonight. I've stayed up late the last, 2 nights. I'm not going to stay up late. And then, of course, the match doesn't start till like 10 o'clock, and I'm sitting there and I'm watching it. I did not make it till the end. I forced myself to turn the TV off, but it was 2-0 at that point. Felt pretty good about it. Woke up, sure enough, 2-0 the final last night. But, yeah, man, a lot of electricity yesterday as we start the knockout rounds, baby.
Yeah, I mean, Mexico, you mentioned home field advantage for them, big deal. And I think a conversation should probably be had that Germany, Ecuador, group wasn't really as strong as we kind of thought it was to begin with. Yeah. So, some of those debates come up, especially regarding the United States, who plays tonight. I think it's 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, one of the two. I think it's 8 o'clock for you guys, Eastern, 7 for me.
Like that.
But all that being said, Paraguay beating Germany, you kind of look at our group now and say, how good actually were we? Especially depending on what Australia does. So, the group stages, they don't answer all the questions, and teams can clip other teams, as always in these single elimination tournaments. But it does provide a question about how good you actually are and how good the teams you had to beat are.
Yeah, absolutely. Yesterday, Norway getting the dub there over Ivory Coast, 2-1. France dominant in their win over Sweden, 3-0 there. And then, of course, Mexico last night in the nightcap over Ecuador, who did end up with a red card there as well, so playing short there towards the end, but wouldn't have mattered, honestly. I think today's going to be interesting. You got England against Congo here in Atlanta, Belgium, Senegal, and, of course, tonight, as Coop said, USA against Bosnia and Herzegovina. I don't think it's fair that the United States has to play two countries at the same time. That's the only thing I would say. I don't know how that's going to work, but no, I'm just teasing. I just thought it's funny. You think about the names of the countries, and you've got two there. You've got Bosnia and Herzegovina, as if they're two different, nations. But
Well, I mean, if the United States is going to win at communism ball, then they're going to make us play two at a time. They don't want us to be good at this sport, so it kind of makes sense, I guess.
Speaking of, and I don't mind being a little transparent. You're out there in Texas, out there in the greater Dallas area. You're up there in, I guess it's Salina. I guess it's kind of where you're at and everything.
You got it.
So, for a lot of folks that listen to the show, obviously we're local. The Tower, of course, is here in North Georgia and LJ specifically, but we've got listenership all over the country there. But again, Coop, man, he's a native of North Georgia. He's from the area, follows high school football here, does a podcast in the fall that generates a lot of excitement, a lot of buzz, particularly in Cherokee County and really all around North Georgia. Of course, he hosts that with our buddy Art Mosley, one of our broadcast partners here as well. But again, what's the vibe been like out there? Because I know that obviously Dallas is kind of a central hub for the World Cup as well, as much as it is here in Atlanta. In fact, I believe both cities are hosting the semifinals, if I'm not mistaken, before they play the final in New York, which, by the way, I still feel like it should be at SoFi. I just feel like that stadium and that vibe's probably a lot better out in L.A. But what's the vibe been like out your way, man, as far as World Cup? How's it been received?
Yeah, it's been good. I mean, the thing about Dallas that I always tell people that they may not realize is that we kind of lump it in with Fort Worth, and together they're, kind of one city, if you will, one area at least. And they've combined to really do a good job. We've also been very lucky to host some really great nations. I mean, we had the Japan versus Netherlands. Sweden's home base was just down the road from us. We got to drive past their home camp and their training grounds at Toyota Stadium at Dallas FC. We've really lucked out with hosting some not only classy teams but some really great fans. I mean, I'm trying to think. We had Argentina here a little bit earlier in the week, and then they played a game not too long ago, and it was Norway yesterday. And the Nordic fans took over Fort Worth, and they're all buying their cowboy hats and cowboy boots.
I know. I saw that with Holland, the play. From Norway. He went to he's been kind of a social media darling, I think, over the last couple of weeks. A guy that kind of looks like he's kind of like an Ivan Drago type of figure. This big, tall, guy, blonde hair, long hair, plays for Norway, and man, he's been embracing the American culture, buying up the cowboy hats and boots and all that stuff. So I think it's awesome, man. I think it's funny.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're talking about the best fans you want around, Norway, Sweden, Argentinian, I mean, like these are, this isn't like, I'm not going to say anything that'll offend anybody, but you have certain teams that may have been in this tournament that you would rather not have around.
Right.
We have not had that problem here. We've had great clubs, great teams, and we've had some really fantastic fans. So we've enjoyed it. I mean, again, for a guy that doesn't care about soccer, 3 years and 11 months out of the year, this has been a very enjoyable experience, and hopefully Team USA keeps it rolling, because I don't know that my interest would be as high if we're not in it,
Yeah, true. Yeah, those people. Yeah, exactly. We don't want them coming. No, so
you know who I'm talking about.
Well, the one thing I hate about it is the Netherlands, man. I love the Orange Army, man. Totally been rocking with the Orange Army, but they get put out as early as they've ever been put out. Now, there's teams like Mexico, for example, that won last night. I think that was their first ever win in the knockout round. Like this is that. So them going to the essentially we call it the Sweet 16, but the round of 16, I think is the furthest that Mexico has ever gone in a World Cup. So that's why it was so emotional last night down in Mexico. But for the Netherlands, the opposite thing happened. They had never been put out before the round of 16, and they get put out in the opening round there on PKs to Morocco, who was a semifinalist in the last World Cup and kind of a surprise team in 2022. And I really hated that, not so much for the team as much as I did the fan base, because you see all the Netherlands, all the Dutch fans all over the country just taking over Kansas City, taking over all the different cities where they played, with the Orange Army, the double-decker buses rolling through town and everything, doing the chant, go left, go right, and all that different stuff. So, you hate to see some of the fan bases get eliminated. But, like you said, Coop, man, USA men going at it tonight, 8 o'clock here on the East Coast, 7 Central. They're out on the West Coast playing at Levi Stadium, taking on Bosnia and Herzegovina. And I'm kind of like you. I feel like if we get beat tonight, then the luster is going to wear off of the World Cup a little bit for me. I'm still going to pay attention because my son and I were pretty invested at this point with it, but at the same time, yeah, it's not going to be the same. So, man, let's go out there and get that dub tonight.
Yeah, I think we have a really good opportunity to. We are more talented, which is going to be probably the last time we're able to say that in this tournament. And we have, a fantastic home field advantage. I wish it was in Seattle. Those guys in Seattle seem to be, a lot better home crowd than LA was. But hopefully, our friends in the Bay Area can come out and show some support and be loud and rowdy. But I think this is a game that we should win. It's just one we historically don't. So, this is kind of the opportunity for the delineation that we've been hearing so much about over the last 4 years is, this team is improved and Pochettino at the head of the helm has been doing a lot more in terms of getting these guys ready for that. This is your opportunity, man. So, let's go out and make the most of it. And, we'll play the winner of Belgium and Senegal. So everybody root really hard for Belgium. We would infinitely rather play Belgium.
Real, yeah, you like that matchup better than I guess. You like you don't.
Senegal's ranked top 15, I think, and Belgium's in the 30s. I mean, just definitely not Senegal. That whole group was loaded. England, Croatia, and Senegal in the same group, and we're supposed to, be excited about the third place out of that.
Yeah,
not me
necessarily. You remember Croatia was the other semifinalist from the 2022 World Cup that got beat out, along with Morocco, to, of course, France and Argentina, respectively. And there's a lot of people that feel like we may very well be headed for a rematch, by the way, between those two with the way they're playing. Obviously, France looked impressive yesterday. Argentina, of course, on deck as well. Spain going at it tomorrow as one of the favorites. So, again, yeah, man, a lot of World Cup talk right here on the program here today. Hey, Travelers Tour over the weekend. Again, it was Hovland, another Norwegian, speaking of the Norway fans, showing up for Victor Hovland in the Travelers Championship. They were doing the big row, and they even got him to do the row, I believe, after he won the one-hole cup playoff there on Monday after the weather there. So I think the greatest thing about this thing, as we've talked about with the World Cup, is not only the cultural, boundaries kind of being, tumbled there and everyone really embracing each other. But it's seeing a lot of these European fan bases and other parts going to some of the other American sporting events like baseball games. We saw all the folks show up at the Red Sox game from Scotland. They drank the bars dry. But, yeah, just seeing all these other countries show up at other American sporting events is pretty cool, too.
Yeah, it is. We had at a Rangers game, we had a bunch of English fans come. The videos from that were awesome. They didn't understand it at all.
Yeah.
It's stuff like that we really get to enjoy. And yeah, I mean, I think I made mention of it on the show last week. It's like we're the older cousin that's a bad influence on these guys.
Yes. It's a perfect analogy.
We had Japan in town, first game of the World Cup. Those poor guys went home. I mean, they're going to have heart conditions. Their livers have failed. I mean, they were not ready for ranch water and Texas barbecue, buddy. The Asian body is not built to consume the amount of meat that was given to them.
Right. Yeah, I'm loving all the different videos. Yeah, there's the one, the younger Japanese guy that was, he tried the Texas barbecue for the first time there and was trying to use some American words to describe it, like "Mamma Mia" or whatever it was. But anyway, yeah, a lot of fun right there. The European, we always talk about the European mind just simply can't comprehend. Well, there's been a lot of those moments for Europeans as they've tweeted out and said different things over the last week or two already. It's like, yep, this is definitely one of those quote European mind can't comprehend moments right here when they're pulling into a Buc-ee's or whatever the case may be. So yeah, man, World Cup alive and well. Hey, the Jasper Coca-Cola text line, by the way, is open. 866-888-0744. Chime in. Let us know what you want us to talk about here today. We're going to chop up some Braves talk here in the second segment as we transition into our Tomahawk take, because we got our man Will Cooper right here on a Wingin It Wednesday, presented by your friends at the Pub and LJ. $1 wings all day long until midnight tonight. Hey, they're open till 2 a.m. over the weekend, but they'll be open till at least 12 o'clock here today, and who knows, maybe even longer, depending on how late the celebration hopefully continues for Team USA. Keep it locked right here. Segment 2 coming coming up of the Morning Rant right here on the home of ESPN Radio in North Georgia on the Sports Pig app and online at sportspigradio.com.
Make your home's air healthier. Green Heating and Cooling can help by installing a Bryant Evolution air purifier just for you. Using Captures and Kills technology, this highly advanced MERV15 filter captures many select airborne pathogens. It also helps improve indoor air quality for both asthma and allergy sufferers by filtering air impurities like dust, pollen, and pet dander. Call to schedule an evaluation. Green Heating and Cooling, your top Bryant authorized dealer, whatever it takes.
Big opinions of the big games from the big mouths.
Man, I think it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's the Morning Rant on WPGY, the Sports Pig, North Georgia's home for ESPN Radio.
Sit down.
Back here on this Wingin It Wednesday, presented by your friends at the pub and L&J. $1 wings all day long until midnight tonight. Go by and see my friends Keegan and all the folks up there at the pub in L&J. Dave Garner, the professor, back here alongside the Golden Boy Will Cooper on this Wednesday edition of the Morning Rant. Hey, keep it locked right here Friday back at Bradley's for the final leg of our summer brunch and lunch tour. Again, Bradley's off of Lower Roswell Road in East Cobb as we officially kick off the July 4th weekend. Freedom 250 happening. We'll be there from 10 to 1 on Friday, so come by and see us. If you happen to be in the North Metro Atlanta area, if you're in the East Cobb area over that way, definitely swing on by. If not, keep it locked right here as we make some more announcements about the program. And we appreciate you guys being with us as we get set for our Tomahawk Take here in just a moment. But first off, Jasper Coca-Cola text line open, 866-888-0744. Had a texter chime in and said, if you could make one rule change in any sport today, what would it be and why? And that's from Kenny in Ballground. Kenny, thanks for the text there. That's a good one right there, Coop. I mean, a lot of, we're talking a lot about golf, and I know the PGA has kind of proposed a different schedule as far as, championship events and things like that. But as far as any change in sports today, man, what kind of hits you off the top of the dome?
Yeah, targeting rule in college football. I wish there was a intent level to it. There's, it's just head-to-head contact, you're gone. With the amount of reviews we have, the language that's in the rule about leaving your feet, leading with the crown of the helmet. How many times do we see guys, especially defensive backs, that are defending a route across the middle? They lower their shoulder and they just dip their head at the last second as a guy is falling to the ground catching a ball, accidentally hits him in the head. It's a bad hit. And the next thing you know, he's out for, either the rest of that game or if it's in the second half, the first half of the next game. Some kind of intent to that rule of saying, he didn't leave his feet. He didn't intentionally lead with the crown of his helmet. The receiver lowered his center of gravity more than the defensive back did. Right. And that, we can still call it a 15-yard penalty, but we don't have to suspend him or not at all together.
Yeah.
But we don't have any of that clarification. So that's something that drives me crazy because sometimes targeting's legit and it's like, yeah, that guy needs to go. But then there are a lot of times where you watch it and you feel so bad for the linebacker or defensive back because they couldn't do anything. The guy was falling.
Yeah. And it's easy to slow the tape down, and make it look like, oh, well, here you go. But you got to realize, man, these things are happening in just a split second. I mean, you've got to make that decision. And a lot of times you just can't help, where you're the placement of where your body, how it is in a bang, bang moment like that. And so, yeah, I agree with that one. I think I'm going to go with, and I know a lot of soccer purists and even hockey purists would definitely argue this. I think they need to get rid of offsides. There's no offside in basketball, right? I mean, think about how many, scoring opportunities would be prevented in basketball if there were an offsides rule. Like, there'd be no fast breaks. There would be no long outlet passes to anybody. I think it would increase the scoring, which for a lot of non-soccer fans is the biggest issue, with soccer, is that there's just not enough scoring. I know it's supposed to mean a whole lot more when it happens. I get that. But I think if you just kind of got rid of the whole offside thing, which is kind of confusing anyway, and even in hockey for that matter, hey, if somebody wants to loiter around the other end, then you know what? A defender probably needs to go with them. That's just the way it is in football. Like, they're not going to call offside on a receiver because he got behind the safety, so I would definitely get rid of that one. I can
see that.
I know a lot of purists would be like, no, because that would change the integrity of the game and blah, blah, blah. Well, exactly. Maybe it needs it, You'd have a lot.
It'd definitely be higher scoring.
Yeah, definitely be higher scoring for sure. So again, hey, great question right there. Another one we just got in right here too before we get to our Braves talk. Fill in the blank. LeBron James is a giant what? That comes from Kareem and Canton. LeBron James is a giant blank. You fill in the blank. What's your thoughts on Bron?
LeBron is a giant disappointment. LeBron is a giant guy that needs to retire. LeBron is a giant asterisk behind every stat. LeBron's a great player, one of the greatest of all time. He is not the greatest of all time. Personally, he's got some weird things, like when he went on that streak of lying about stuff, and these documentaries made him very weird. I don't know. It's to me, it's he's been playing since 2002,
right?
And now here we go again. We've got free agency where he gets to pick anywhere he wants to go, and all these teams are gonna just move on, bro.
And by the way,
your time is done.
He gets to bring his son with him too. Now we got Bronny.
I know.
That's
more of a liability than an upgrade, but yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one right there. LeBron James is a giant guy that needs to retire, maybe. So yeah, he's definitely, I like that one for sure. There, I think all of the above, man. I think you hit it right on the head right here on this Wingin It Wednesday. Hey, time to talk some baseball.
It's time to chop on.
Swung on it, jolted high in the air, deep right field, back to the wall, a sonic boom out of the ballpark. Braves win it.
From Truist Park to every corner of Braves country, we've got your daily dose of Atlanta Braves baseball.
A walk-off grand slam, and this place erupts here in Atlanta, Georgia.
Highlights, hot takes, and all things red, white, and navy. It's the Tomahawk Take on WPGY, the Sports Pig.
All right, so again, our Tomahawk Take presented by Northside Hospital Cherokee. We appreciate all those folks being on board with us right here. Again, Northside Orthopedics and Sports Medicine joining us on the program as well. Will Cooper, again, our golden boy, our Braves insider right here as we talk a little bit about our Atlanta Braves who, needless to say, are struggling. That continued last night in a 5-3 loss to St. Louis Cardinals as the Braves open up a homestand, coming off a road trip that was not so friendly. Losing 2 out of 3 of the Giants, get swept by the Padres. Just kind of ugly right now. What's going on with this team?
Do we have to talk about this team?
We can move on into some other.
What does the contract say?
Yeah, exactly. So maybe move on into some friendlier topics. But we're near, of course, the All-Star game. It's coming up soon. The Braves, the silver lining, if you want to start with the positives, it does look like the Braves will potentially be very well represented in the All-Star game this year, it looks like, with a few different folks there that are kind of, leading the charts. But outside of that, man, I tell you what, this team is just really trying to find its way. I guess the biggest thing that I've noticed lately is, all the defensive changes. We're hearing names of guys like Eric Hartman in the minor leagues all of a sudden popping up on the radar. I think because we're in a situation now where the Braves are looking for someone, anyone to be able to boost this lineup. Who would have thought that after we had a 10-game lead after the first month or two of the season and things were rocking and rolling, that we'd be talking about, well, let's go down and let's take a look at who's in Double-A that might be able to help us right now. But I think that's kind of where we're at with this team.
Well, here's some numbers for everybody. Braves were 9-14 in the month of June. The Phillies went 18-9, gained 7 games. The Marlins also quietly had one of the best months in Major League Baseball this year. They went 20-6 and gained 8.5 games on us. Here's some spots where Atlanta was dead last in Major League Baseball. Runs scored, batting average, on-base percentage, slugging, which then implies OPS would be dead last, which it was, and home runs. The starting pitchers in June had a 5.69 ERA. That's the 5th worst in baseball over that month span.
Yeah.
And the bullpen continued their good work and had the best ERA in MLB during the month of June with a 2.14.
Yeah.
While Atlanta was once leading in all these categories, back, we're talking, April, May. Now they're 13th in runs, 12th in home runs, 9th in batting average, 17th in hits, 11th in slugging, 21st in on-base percentage. Look, so here's what I said back early in the season. some of this is a regression to the mean. Did the Braves truly have the best offense on par with some of these other teams? No, they didn't. Now, some of it's a little bit difficult to explain. And here's exactly how I'll draw the line between the two. Are you familiar with p-values, Dave?
P-values? Not necessarily.
Yeah, like the letter P.
Yeah, well, no, probably not in the context of baseball. Yeah.
All right. So it's statistics. So a p-value is a probability value that the event that happened would happen normally. Like if you flipped a coin, 50-50 odds, how many times would that happen? Yeah. So a clean example, Drake Baldwin is 0 for 36 with 17 strikeouts since he's returned back and hit that home run.
Yeah.
Okay. What is the probability of that happening? 0.28. A p-value of 0.28. That's pretty high. That's about a 28% chance that a guy that hits 300, if he just flipped a coin and that happened, that would happen 28% of the time. Okay. Yeah. The odds that Austin Riley, a career 270 hitter, would be batting 208 to this point in the season with a pace to lead his career in strikeouts.
Yeah.
The probability of that happening this morning, and I wrote it down, is 0.00002.
Oh my goodness!
It's less than a tenth of a percent.
Yeah.
That is statistically significant. So there are some things that are going on that is luck. There are some things going on that are true probability issues, Austin Riley being one of them. And it's both. Both are happening at the same time. And that makes it difficult to find your way in these games.
That's crazy. Yeah, my man Will Cooper bringing the next gen to the Wingin It Wednesday right here. So the stars are not aligning, basically. I mean, in my simple mind, when I think about that kind of stuff, like, let's just lay it out and put it in layman's terms. This team is completely flip-flopped. I mean, in the other direction, and not just like slowly falling off the cliff. They've basically fell off of it this last month. And I guess what a lot of Braves fans want to know is why is that? And I think there's some different things that contribute to that. Obviously, you've got the numbers there to back it up. Certainly injuries. We've definitely had a few of those. We've had a little bit of inexperience at spots. I think some of it is, like you said, returning to the back of the baseball card, like you always say. I think some of that's true. But what is the realistic Braves team? Does it look like the team we saw earlier in the year, or does it look more like the team we've seen lately? Because the team we've seen lately is not a playoff contender. I mean, at this point, I know they built such a big lead, but that lead is almost gone, and we haven't even gotten to the All-Star break yet. Like a few weeks ago, a month ago, that was like an unforeseen, thing that would have had a result. I mean, it was unforeseen that the Braves could lose a 9.5 game lead, within a month, basically. But you said, to your point, the Marlins gained 8 games on us. The Phillies gained 7.5 or whatever. So, I mean, it's like you look at this team and you think, what's going on? And it goes back to our earlier question that we answered from some of our texters, like, hey, if you had one move with this Braves team, and you and I talked about this last week, would it be if you only had one move, starting pitcher, a bullpen, or another bat in the lineup? I think for all intents and purposes, to your point, I think our bullpen has played pretty well, and they've been able to maintain some consistency. I think the starting rotation has really suffered, and then for whatever reason, man, our bats. I mean, just everybody's kind of slumping at the same time.
Yeah, it truly is just a bit of guys that are underperforming: Ha-Sung Kim, Austin Riley, Mike Yastrzemski, along with guys that are having a bad stretch. Michael Harris, Drake Baldwin, even Matt Olson. I know that he's still batting like 270, but the home run numbers have really dipped.
Yeah.
So all of that is kind of culminating together where it looks as bad as it does. Real briefly, to answer your question, where is this team? Are they the team we see now? Or are they the team that we saw in April and June, or April and May? Yeah. Somewhere in the middle. I think
so?
they're not
kind of where they're at.
They're not a top 5 team, but they're not a bottom 15 team.
Right. Well, and you just answered a question. We just got a texter that texted and said maybe the Braves just aren't a good team, But I like to at this point. I want to believe what you're saying. I mean, I think if this team is somewhere in the middle, I'll take that because it's better than what we got right now. I think we got spoiled certainly in the early part of the year when everything was just we could do no wrong. I mean, everything that Walt, strutted out there was working. But you're going to have those ebbs and flows in any baseball season. We saw that obviously back during 2021 as well. Hey, we're up against our second break. We're going to come back and continue the discussion. Our Tomahawk Take discussion will continue here in a moment, presented by your friends at Northside Hospital Cherokee. Good stuff right here on this Wingin' It Wednesday from my man, Will Cooper, the Golden Boy. Keep it locked right here on the Morning Rant, here on the home of ESPN Radio in North Georgia, on the Sports Pig app and online at sportspigradio.com.
Welcome to your hometown pub. Open 7 days a week, the pub in LJ is your happy hour hangout. They offer a variety of dishes to satisfy every palate, and their friendly staff is here to ensure a wonderful time. Join them for daily happy hour specials Monday through Thursday. And don't forget, every Wednesday is Wing Wednesday with $1 wings all day long. Located at 941 Maddox Drive in East LJ. Open Sunday through Wednesday till midnight, Thursday through Saturday till 2 a.m. The pub in LJ, where every visit feels like home. We bring the heat. You bring the trash talk.
Come on, man. Are you serious?
It's the Morning Rant, live on the Sports Pig app and sportspigradio.com.
Back here on this Wingin' It Wednesday, presented by your friends at the pub in LJ. $1 wings all day long until midnight tonight. Hey, man. Dave Garner back with you right here alongside Will Cooper on the Sports Pig app and online at sportspigradio.com. Also on the dial, WPGY 98.1, 93.7, and 101.1 on the HD2 dial. Thanks for being locked back in with us here midweek as we chop up World Cup, Atlanta Braves, and a little bit of everything. Hey, speaking of our Tomahawk Take, wanted to continue the discussion here into our third segment again. Top of the hour, Chuck Oliver up next with Southern Sports Today, the king of college football. We'll talk a little college ball for you before we wrap up the show here today. But again, going back to this Braves team for just a moment, I think that there's a lot of things you look at it as a casual fan, and you got to wonder, like, okay, we get it. Guys are slumping. Starting rotation struggling. We've had injuries, but I'm not sure that I've ever seen a team do such a 180. In the middle of a season, like to be so good. And then win in a series, and I go back, I guess, to maybe that White Sox series. I mean, they had that little stretch there, and you could almost see this team just completely, just being a totally different team. And I'm not sure. Usually, when somebody falls apart, it's kind of like this gradual, like you lose a series, but then you win a couple more series, but then maybe you lose a couple series, and you kind of, to your point, the back of the baseball card, you kind of return to the mean, you even out a little bit. But I mean, to be so good, and then like seemingly overnight to be so bad, you got to wonder, okay, what else is going on here, even maybe beyond the stats, even beyond the next gen, the things that we talk about? Is there a locker room dynamic that all of a sudden has, flipped the squad upside down? I mean, you got to wonder if there's some other intangibles going on around this baseball team right now that might be contributing to this downfall we're seeing.
Well, I heard somebody say it. I don't remember where I heard it or read it. But, when the Braves signed some of these guys, they did. Yastrzemski, even Jurickson, Profar, obviously that didn't pan out, but some of that stuff. Look, that was all to raise the floor, not raise the ceiling of this team. Mike Yastrzemski is not a signing that's going to make you a World Series contender, but he's solid enough. You're not gonna collapse. Most of the time, obviously, we did in June, but over the entire season, I mean, right? A lot of this was depth that we were trying to just kind of, we're going to saddle our horse to Drake Baldwin and Ronald Acuna and Michael Harris and Austin Riley, Matt Olson, and the rest of these guys can just kind of pick it up where they need to. Yeah. But that doesn't move the bar. We're not spending like the Dodgers are spending. We're not spending like the Phillies. And if you want a prime example of what do you even mean if you're going to raise the ceiling of your team, don't you inevitably raise the floor? The New York Mets are a prime example of that. They spent massive money, the most in Major League Baseball, to sign guys that could win a World Series. They are horrible. Yeah. They're downright bad. They did not raise their ceiling at all. They had no depth. When Juan Soto and Bo Bichette were hurt in the year, they were terrible. They finally fired their manager. There's two different things going on with that type of logic. So, I guess my point at the end of the day is that I don't know that there's anything behind the scenes that's going terribly wrong. Again, the Austin Riley stuff, I know people are mostly harping on. He's aware of it. I saw the quote from him yesterday that says, I'm in the batting cage working. He's aware of it. I don't know what you do with that. I really don't. We're kind of to the point now where you kind of lost the side of me that says, we'll wait and see. Like maybe there's a turnaround. I think he's just a 200 hitter now who's going to hit 12 home runs a year. I think that's what he is. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on with them. I just know that when you look at the spending, when you look at what they did in the month of June, they're a better team than they played in June. But they're not a top 5 team in baseball right now, unfortunately.
Yeah, and you look at a guy like Austin Riley, and you think, okay, well, if he's only going to hit 12 home runs in a year, he hit 200 for you, and that's what it is. But you're paying this guy, a lot of money. One of the
$270 million
in Braves history. You just can't do that. I mean, if you're a guy that's get booted up, get brought up through the system, and you come in and you're right above the Mendoza line, and to your point, you're kind of a floor player, but you're trying to raise that floor for your team. I don't see Austin Riley as a floor player. He needs to be – Austin Riley's a guy that should be a ceiling player, in my opinion, with as much as you're paying him. And we have a body of work to judge that off of. He's been with the club now for a long time. So, it just makes you wonder. Like, everybody knows their role. I mean, you do your job, like the old New England Patriots, used to say, do your job. But Austin Riley's a guy you're paying a lot of money to not be a floor player. You're paying him to be a ceiling player. And so, yeah, I still think you've got a lot of decisions moving forward if you're Alex Anthopoulos.
A lot of decisions. The trade deadline, I think, becomes incredibly complicated. If you would ask me a month ago, we were wholesale buyers, no bars held. Now I don't know that that's the case.
Yeah.
We're not sellers, I don't think. But I think maybe your aim changes. Maybe you really do emphasize a shortstop.
Yeah.
Hurston Waldrop, we got to see him back. AJ Smith-Shawver's not too far from being back. Probably in the next month or so.
Right.
Some of these guys you might need to replace them. And again, third base. Are you really comfortable? I mean, if you're being honest, if this is the conversation going on in the front office where they're saying we can win the World Series if. I think that if becomes third base needs to be above the Mendoza line, and it has not been for 3 months now.
Right. Wow. That's just crazy to think, man. This Braves team tanking, but hopefully they get things turned around. Hey, man, I still have hope. I learned my lesson in 2021 when I sat there with you every day. We were doing the podcast every week, and I badmouthed the Braves all season long, and we were like, what's wrong with this team? They stink. And then AA worked the magic, and we all know the rest of the story there. So hopefully the same thing can happen this year. But right now it's not looking good. Hey, let's transition and talk a little high school sports for just a minute. Again, August 21st, the opening week for high school football here in Georgia. And, man, it's we're less than 2 months away. Today's July 1st, Coop. I mean, goodness gracious, we're celebrating July 4th weekend this weekend. And then right on the other side of this, man, we got to start to kind of prepping and looking ahead. When we started the show back in March, as a lot of people know, we came on at a time where, we were March Madness, and then we were getting into the Masters and some of that kind of stuff. And football kind of looked like a distant thing, that was kind of like, well, we'll talk about that down the road. Well, now down the road is here, and so we're going to begin the conversation of talking about football really at all levels as we approach training camps and, of course, fall practices and all those sorts of things. But, yeah, man, your initial thoughts, high school football, I know you're very plugged into not only in Georgia but now in Texas as well. But talk about your initial thoughts, man, as we're now less than 2 months away from kickoff.
Yeah, really excited. On my side, the Cooper Predictor, we've made some changes. We'll be doing updates all the time. As a matter of fact, Corky Kell kicks off on August 12th. We've got predictions that'll be updated by then. And I think the thing that I'm most excited about is we have a watchability score that we have put together. So we'll put that out every week as well. And it's the top 10 games around the state, and it's it's based on how close the games are anticipated to be, along with the quality that you'll see. So we'll have a watch score, how easy these games are to go and watch.
Yeah.
So really excited about that. I saw something on Twitter, I think it was yesterday, from fired football coaches of Georgia. I don't know if you've seen this guy on Twitter. Ever heard of him?
Yet. No, I need to follow it, though. That's,
He's funny, and he posted about 6A and 7A. 6A has 14 state title winning head coaches. 7A only has 4 or 5, I think.
Okay.
I was shocked to learn that. I thought for sure that the highest classification would be, filled with state title winning coaches.
Up, right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And in 6A, Region 2, only one team doesn't have a state title winning coach, and that's Houston County.
Right. Wow. And they're a pretty good program too. I mean, they've definitely had their years on and off right there. We were looking at the schedules the other day. I put together and I need to send it to you actually, put together a master schedule of the games of all the schools basically that are in our coverage area. We do have some news about about the Sports Pig and kind of what we're going to be doing here on Friday nights as well. Going to be a little bit different than what we're going to do over on our sister station over on 101.1 The Pulse. But, of course, both of the stations have high school football games on Friday nights. We all work very closely together. But this station right here is definitely going to be kind of hyper-focused in on a few particular schools in North Georgia, and we'll talk about that later on. But, I was putting together the master schedule, and I felt like, we've got around 45 to 50 high schools on there that we're going to really be kind of talking about throughout the fall mostly. But that doesn't mean we're not going to talk about, we'll have a South Georgia showcase where we pick a game in South Georgia and kind of talk about it, keep the score, updated, things like that, because we really want to do an even better job now that we've been on the air. I mean, if you think about it, even last fall and the previous years, and even when you were in town, Coop, this station, it was a music format. And then last year, we didn't really kick off the ESPN format till basically October. So, if you didn't know the games were on, you might have missed them. But now that we've been on the air with the station since last fall, we'll have almost a year under our belt before we kick off this year. So I'm excited about the Sports Pig and high school football this year here on this station because, we have a built-in on it. People are listening to this show. They're tuning in on the app, on the stream, over the dial, and so I'm excited for it. But, man, it's getting here quick. It's getting here really quick.
We always call it the July OS. And you can fill in the blanks. Yeah. And it's every time you've ever been involved in anything high school football, you're just kind of doing your thing. And then you wake up one morning and you look at the calendar and it's July and you go, oh, that's like 40 days away.
Yeah, exactly.
I actually got to start doing stuff.
I may not have known what the probability thing was you were talking about a moment ago, but I know exactly what the July OS means there.
Yeah.
As we get set for high school football right here on WPGY. Hey, visit us on social media, the Sports Pigs on Facebook, the Morning Rant on Instagram, also full episodes on YouTube, the podcast version of the show uploaded daily on our website, sportspigradio.com, and wherever you listen to your favorite daily podcast on both Apple and Android platforms, including Spotify, Podbean. You can interact with us on social media. On Twitter, I'm at Dave Garner 777. He's at Will24 Cooper with 1L, and this is the Morning Rant. Once again, our Jasper Coca-Cola text line is open for one more segment right here, 866-888-0744. We'll see you on the other side of the break, the Cooper Predictor, and so much more with you right here on this Wingin' It Wednesday, presented by your friends at the Pub in LJ. Stay with us right here on the home of ESPN Radio in North Georgia. That's the Sports Pig app and online at sportspigradio.com.
Financial scams are on the rise, and with AI, they're getting more and more sophisticated every day. If someone pressures you to act quickly, ask for secrecy, or request payment through gift cards, wire transfers, or cryptocurrency, stop. Legitimate financial professionals don't rush you or demand unusual payment methods. Before you send money or share personal information, slow down and verify. Protect your future. When in doubt, ask questions.
If you're suspicious of a scam, call the team at Foundation Wealth today at 706-278-0214.
Morning Grind with Pork Rinds.
Welcome to the show.
It's the Morning Rant, weekday mornings from 10 to 11 on 98.1, 93.7, and 101.1 on the H2 dial. WPGY, the Sports Pig.
final segment of our Winging It Wednesday edition of the Morning Rant, presented by your friends at the Pub and LJ. $1 wings all day long. Chuck Oliver at the top of the hour today, right here on the Sports Pig. Dave Garner, Will Cooper, back with you right here. A lot to get to here in the final segment of the program. Hey, I wanted to touch a little bit on recruiting right now. Again, the windows are kind of closing up here a little bit. Everyone kind of getting their teams together. Any news on the Alabama front, man? I know I'm kind of putting you on the spot right here, but what's the latest out of Tuscaloosa?
Yeah, we've picked up a fair number of 4 stars, a couple of 3 stars. There was one receiver that we picked up that was a 3-star a couple of days ago. I thought it was interesting. I don't know if I probably haven't, but Kalen DeBoer was in an interview and mentioned that to Alabama fans that we should not expect to have a full recruiting class, that they did the heavy lifting in this past recruiting class, and which they finished number 1, and that they were focused on development and retention more than bringing in new guys. So for Alabama fans, we're all kind of bracing ourselves for not being in the top 5 for the first time since 2008, because it sounds like we're kind of content not to be. But other than that, man, I thought that was interesting. I also thought, by the way, Georgia Tech on an absolute run in recruiting right now. And I mean, and getting the new look with the new jerseys, changing the colors. I don't know how everybody feels about that. Personally, I like the new jerseys. Don't love that they changed the color, but all of that together, I think that the recruiting trail for Georgia Tech's very hot, and it'll be interesting to see what they do this year. I'll leave it like that.
I'll tell you what, Brent Key, though, man, I mean, offering a scholarship to Kirby's son and to Lane Kiffin's son, and I mean, like, hey, man,
I know.
But those guys know each other well enough. I mean, Kirby would probably say, well, I'd be offended if he didn't offer him something, I mean, hey, what do you got against my kid? That would probably be the Kirby response there. But no, nonetheless, I mean, we're working ourselves closer. That is going to kind of become the center of our conversation, as it is for Chuck Oliver every day right here on the Sports Pig. But you and I will definitely be chopping it up a little bit. Of course, the other co-host as well, as we talk about college football. Real quick, Cooper Predictor here in the back end of the show as we try to win you guys a little bit of money on any of your picks. We are going to go a little bit of Wimbledon here today because, of course, the Predictor is very good with tennis. And, hey, it's Wimbledon time, baby. First full weekend this weekend. Finals, of course, next weekend. So we are in that stretch on grass right here with tennis. But real quick, I want to go back to our conversation last segment as well about high school power rankings. And I know that you've been working on some different stuff with the different classes in GHSA here in Georgia, and you've got some different things that you've been tweaking with, not only with the Predictor, but also with some of your power rankings there as well, and projections, I guess I should say. So lay it on us, man. Give us a few tidbits to kind of tease, next week.
I mean, I think for what we've got now, and I'm really excited about some of the changes. We have full team projections. We expect where teams go. We have class projections, classifications, and then region projections. I actually just posted the stats on my Twitter page if anybody wants to see why it all matters. Just to run through it real quick, we're 80% accuracy, 12,659 games we've predicted over 5 years. We're right 80.1% of the time. Win probabilities, we do a win probability for every game. We're within 1.2 percentage points of those. So if we say 71.2% of the time you're going to win that game, you might win at 70%. You might win at 73.4%. Preseason outlook. We're good. When we talk about postseason and playoffs, we're right on 83.2% of the playoff field, with an average deviation of just 2.37. So if you have an 80% chance to make the playoff, it may be 78, it may be 82%, but that's how often you make the playoff. And the part that's really cool is we hit the region champion 55% of the time. And when we slot in regions, we are off by an average of 1 spot. And that's it. So, some really good stats, some really exciting stuff there. So hopefully you guys join us in for that, and I can bring you some info.
For all you high school football junkies out there, now we're not telling you that. Now the Predictor's something a little bit different. We're not telling you all this to go bet on high school football. As you would say,
please don't.
You degenerates out there. But again, but at least there's a lot of folks like you and I, man. They're high school football junkies. They love following the stuff. They love talking about it. So again, a little bit of fodder to throw out there for you guys as well. You can go on Twitter and check them out at Will24 Cooper. That's Will with 1 L, and see what it's all about. Now, this is, I guess, to clarify, I mean, this is separate from the Predictor, right? This is a totally different model, or is it built kind of within the Cooper Predictor model?
It is in the family of the Cooper Predictor models, which are all logistical regression models. They basically try and do the same thing. It's just this is a version of it that's specifically made for high school football. It was trained for 3 years in 2017, 18, and 19 to determine what the best fits are. Without getting too complicated into it. So, yeah, it's very similar to what you see in my baseball picks and what you'll see in my college football picks, which my predictor for college football should be up and running in the next couple weeks as well.
I was going to say, when are you launching your website, man? I mean, we got to pump this thing up, man. We got to get this thing out there.
Yeah, soon. Very soon.
You've had a lot of success with it, and so we're excited for it. Hey, speaking of, man, it's time to lay it on us.
It's time for the weekly Cooper Predictor.
60% of the time, it works every time.
On the Morning Rant.
Now, the odds are a little better than 60%. Every time. But, hey, man, that's
80%.
80%. We need to change. I wish Paul Rudd would have had that line in Anchorman. It would have been perfect. But anyway, no, we have fun with it right here. Time for the Cooper Predictor here in the final segment of our Wingin' It Wednesday edition of the Morning Rant, presented by your friends at the pub in LJ. $1 wings all day long at the pub. So where are we going today? I know we talked a little tennis, Wimbledon. We've done a lot, of course, MLB. Where are we going today, man? What do you want to throw out there?
Let's go with Wimbledon since that's the big thing right now. I'll give you a 3. Jesper De Jong over João Fonseca.
Okay.
You can get that at a really good price right now. Alex de Minaur over Adrian Manarino. And then Jan Leonard Struff over Brandon Nakashima. Those are the 3 that I would take in the Wimbledon world.
Okay.
If you do want an MLB pick, just worth noting, if you bet against the Braves in the month of June, you would be up. If you bet $10 on the Braves in the month of June, you would be up by 27 times. You'd make 27 times money back. So maybe throw a couple bucks on the Cardinals tonight and see, let the Braves prove us wrong. Maybe that's not an official pick.
Maybe I should just start betting against the Braves, and that way if they win, well, at least they won. If they lose, oh well, at least I win some money or something. I don't know. I mean,
that's exactly right. And as always,
yeah. I mean, at this point,
an obligatory point.
Yeah. At this point, you got to do something. I mean, come on now. We gotta find the positives out of this Braves team. So it's like the Falcons. I mean, the Falcons are one of those teams historically that never. Isn't it the Falcons that never cover the spread or something like that? I don't know. So it's There's one team out there locally. I can't remember who it is. It always seems like they're always the team that never covers, that you would think would cover, but they never do. I don't know.
I know that Rutgers has covered, and since 2010, I think I was reading this, their football team has covered the spread 79% of the time as underdogs. It's insane. If they're plus 10 underdogs, take them because they'll lose by 9. It's not that they win,
right?
But they don't lose to the spread. Vegas outprices them for some reason.
That's hilarious. Oh man, my man Will Cooper bringing it right here. The Cooper Predictor right here on the Morning Rant. Hey, Jasper Coca-Cola text line 866-888-0744. Write it down. Jot it down. Take a picture of it, man. Keep it with you. That way, wherever you're at, whether you're listening right in your car, whether you're at work, with your AirPods or what have you, you can chime in and interact with us right here as well on our social media. Again, Facebook, Instagram, you name it. You can find us all over the place. And we appreciate you guys being with us. And just a couple tidbits. I mean, we talked about recruiting. We do have some announcements to make about fall. And I will give a little bit of a hint. It does involve the University of Alabama. It does involve Crimson Tide and ESPN Radio right here in North Georgia on the Sports Pig. So we're going to talk about that a little bit later on here. And it just so happens that we have the fan bases represented on the program that kind of, really play into our coverage a little bit here between the Pulse and the Pig. And so we're excited about that. NHL, real quick, returning to Atlanta, it does look like the Atlanta group, one of the ownership groups there, has cleared a hurdle as far as being able to move some dirt. I think there's some permitting and things that have been approved. So maybe we're one step closer to hockey returning to Atlanta.
Yeah, I mean, one day closer to Jesus, one step closer to hockey. I mean, what else could you want? Yeah, I mean, I hope so. Again, it's been a very enjoyable stretch. Being a Sharks fan, they had a A++ rating on the draft grade. They did a fantastic job. But yeah, in Atlanta, I mean, we've kind of talked about it, ad nauseum at this point. But bring it back, man. We're ready. I think this city's ready. I think we can have a really good team, especially where they're looking at putting it. I think the community locally would support it.
I think so too. Yeah, I think definitely third time a charm. I don't think it's like I said last time, I don't think it was a lack of support. I think it was a lack of leadership. Essentially the ownership group just being dysfunctional and eventually selling off the team out of frustration because no one wanted to be a part of it anymore. Hey, quote of the day here from one of our texters right here on the Jasper Coca-Cola text line. Quote, maybe the Braves just aren't a good team. We'll continue to dive down that rabbit hole as we continue right here on the Morning Rant. But for now, we are out of time. My man Will Cooper, the Golden Boy, bringing it once again, this time on a Wingin It Wednesday. Thank you for being with us, partner.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
There you go. Awesome. We'll see you next time. Thank you for being with us. You can visit us on social media. SportsPig is on Facebook. Our show, The Morning Rant, on Instagram and YouTube. As we mentioned, the podcast version of the program available every day on our website, sportspigradio.com, and wherever you listen to your favorite daily podcast on both Apple and Android platforms, including Spotify and Podbean. You can interact with us on social media. I'm at Dave Garner 777 on Twitter. He's at Will24 Cooper with 1L. And this is the Morning Rant. Tomorrow, our Tailgate Thursday, presented by Green Heating and Cooling. And then on Friday, we're back at Bradley's for the final leg of our summer brunch and lunch tour. Should be fun as we ring in Freedom 250. Thanks for being with us. Chuck Oliver, the king of college football, up next. As we always say, if you don't know,
better ask
somebody. We'll see you tomorrow right here on the home of ESPN Radio in North Georgia on the SportsPig app and online at sportspigradio.com. We'll see you.
When you get hurt from an accident, it can feel like no one is listening to you. The insurance company talks over you. The bills keep coming. It's like the pain and inconvenience doesn't even matter to them. But your story does matter. And here at Geiger Legal, we will make sure your story is heard loud and clear. My name is Casey Geiger, and my firm stands up for people who have been wronged through someone else's negligence. Let us tell your story. Let us get the justice you deserve. And let's start today.
Call Geiger Legal Group at 833-HELP-GLG. That's 833-HELP-GLG, and let us tell your story today.